Have you ever felt uncomfortable even when nothing in your life seems obviously wrong? You're doing the self-care, trying to stay positive, maybe even meditating, yet there's a quiet tension inside you that won't go away. That feeling isn't random, and it isn't a personal failure. It has a name. It's called cognitive dissonance, and understanding it can completely change the way you experience peace in your life. Cognitive dissonance happens when there is a gap between what you believe is right and how you are actually living. It's the inner strain we feel when our values and our actions don't match. Imagine standing with one foot on one boat and the other foot on another boat as they slowly drift apart. The wider the gap becomes, the more painful and unstable it feels to keep standing. That discomfort isn't just emotional or mental. It shows up physically as tension and stress. No amount of coping strategies can fully calm that feeling if the gap itself remains unaddressed. This is why unresolved dissonance leaves us feeling unsettled, guilty, fake, or unsure of ourselves. It quietly erodes our peace. For example, someone might value health and believe they should take care of their body, yet consistently avoid movement or exercise. Each time they ignore that value, they feel a small sting of disappointment. Not because they are bad or lazy, but because their actions don't reflect what they believe matters. Over time, those small stings add up, and the discomfort grows. The opposite of cognitive dissonance is integrity. Integrity is not just telling the truth to others. It is living honestly with yourself. It's when your actions align with your values, even imperfectly. When integrity is present, we feel calmer, clearer, and more at peace with who we are. We like ourselves more, not because we are perfect, but because we are trying to live in a way that feels true. There are three main ways people deal with cognitive dissonance, but not all of them lead to peace. The most effective way is to change your behavior when your values are healthy and realistic. When someone begins taking small steps to live in alignment with what they believe, the dissonance fades and is replaced by a sense of pride and self-respect. You don't have to do everything right. What matters is that you're moving in the direction of the person you want to be. Sometimes, however, the problem isn't our behavior, but our thinking. If our beliefs are distorted by perfectionism, unrealistic expectations, or harsh self-judgment, then trying to force our actions to meet those standards only creates more suffering. In those cases, resolving dissonance means changing our thinking to align with reality, health, and self-compassion. Integrity also means being fair to yourself and valuing well-being over impossible ideals. The most common and most damaging way people deal with dissonance is through justification. Instead of closing the gap, we try to numb the discomfort by making excuses, blaming circumstances, comparing ourselves to others, or minimizing the issue. This might make us feel better temporarily, but it doesn't solve the problem. It's like taking painkillers while ignoring a deeper injury. Over time, justification keeps us stuck and disconnected from ourselves. It's important to say clearly that your worth is not dependent on your productivity, your body, or how perfectly you live up to your values. Resolving cognitive dissonance is not about shaming yourself or forcing change. It's about being intentional. When you honestly look at your values, your limitations, and your circumstances, and then consciously choose how you want to act, the dissonance begins to dissolve. Peace comes from making a choice, not from endlessly feeling like you should be someone you're not. A powerful practice is to regularly check in with yourself and ask where your actions and values might be misaligned. Write it down without judgment. Then ask whether you need to adjust your behavior or your thinking. Even a 1% shift toward alignment can create meaningful change over time. Every human being has a gap between who they are and who they believe they should be. That gap is part of being human. What matters is not whether the gap exists, but how we respond to it. We can face it with honesty and courage, or we can hide it with excuses. Integrity is the foundation of self-respect, and self-respect is the foundation of peace. So the real question is this: are you living in a way that reflects what you truly value, or are you simply trying not to feel bad? The answer to that question can change everything.